cloud. Okay. So, so thank you so much for doing this tonight and taking time out of your night. I posted, was that like a couple of weeks ago? I was like, okay, I need some top leaders to do Zooms because that's what my team was wanting. So thank you so much for taking time out of your night to do this. So let's just get started right away. So will you just tell everyone like your story, how you got started into where you are now?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name's Amy Gamlin. I am living in St. Louis, Missouri. I am originally from Chicago, moved here about, 11 years ago for nursing school. I went to SLU. I met my husband. I graduated, worked for about 5 years as a NICU nurse at Mercy or St. John's, I guess it was at the time. And honestly, like growing up, like when I moved here from Chicago, my mom was a single mom growing up. So I always, I had to pay for my school. I had to do all that. So going through school, I could have worked as a tech and got experience and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, bartending and working in restaurants, like it's better money. So that's where I met my husband. So then I worked for about 5 years. And after that, it was getting very complicated. My last semester of nursing school is when I had my first child. We got married, or I graduated, got married, started working. And then it was after my third child. I went back after maternity leave and then ended up sorry, there's a weird sound in my house. Okay, sorry. After my third child, I ended up going back after maternity leave, but then it got really complicated. I was working PRN and it was not worth my time. I was staffing other units. Anyway, long story short, I ended up becoming a stay-at-home mom. But growing up with that single mom and, working 2 or 3 jobs always at a time when I was going to school and stuff, I really struggled with that, confidence of just, being dependent on my husband. And yes, he was my husband and money is money and his money is my money. But still, it was just that confidence of like, oh my gosh, now I'm dependent on someone else and, for money and stuff like that, I really struggled with that. We were married for about 6 years and it was the first time we had a joint checking account, and which is kind of crazy, but that's how we did it. Like I paid certain things, he paid certain things. So then that was kind of another dig that it was like, oh my God, now we have to get a joint checking account and I don't have my own little stash. And so I really struggled with that. And then I was working out and I was in this mommy boot camp, and that's where I met Lauren Casmatis. And so she is my enroller. I knew about 2 girls that worked at the hospital that were It Works distributors, but I never really knew that I actually bought a wrap. One of them somebody came to my house and wrapped me, but never once offered the opportunity. So I never knew I could join the business. I knew I could buy products, but it was just the unknown. So then Lauren started posting about it and I was like, okay, here's another one. I was, semi-annoyed at first, but then I think it was because I trusted her more. And I knew her more on a personal level. And I saw her posting almost every single month, it seemed like she was getting a $10,000, a $20,000, $30,000 bonus. And I'm a very competitive person and a red personality that I was like, what the heck is she doing? And because I knew her on a personal level, I was like, okay, she'll tell me the truth if she's really making this much money. So we were at a workout class and I asked her, I said, are you really making that much money? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I almost feel bad taking it because it's such great money and it's really easy and fun to do. And so I watched her like most people do. I watched her probably another 6 months. She reached out to me, hey, you want to go get a glass of wine? Hey, you want to do that? All this stuff. And looking back, I ignored her. Not purposely, it was just, she sent a message and whatever. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But it's funny to be 3 years in the business now and to see how it all went down. Cause it's almost the same for every person. So I watched her for about 6 months and then it got to the point where, it was New Year's Eve. It was BOGO wraps for loyal customer. And I ended up getting strep throat. So I had all these plans for New Year's Eve. I ended up getting strep throat. Her husband's a photographer, so he was shooting a wedding. So she was home with her boys. So we ended up talking after we got our kids to bed, and I gave her all my information. And it's funny because I pretty much wanted the BOGO wraps. And then she didn't even put me in the system that night because she's like, oh, I'll wait till the second because maybe there's something. And it was funny because that's the first time they did a Ruby bonus where it was like, if you signed up on the second, you got, almost an extra month, whatever. So I never ended up getting those double wraps, but whatever. So anyway, so I joined technically January 2nd, 2015. I hit the ground running. I think the day she put me in the system, I was already messaging people, reaching out to people I thought would be great at it. I ended up going Ruby in 7 weeks and I got that $500 bonus. I went diamond in 3 months, double in 5 months, triple in 13 months. And I've earned cumulative, like if you count my husband's, he went diamond for me to go triple. It was about I think it was 108 or 107, 500 or something in bonuses in my first 13 months. So it was crazy. It was a crazy year. I'm still at triple, but presidential and hopefully ambassador will come this year. I just feel it that 2018 is going to be another run. Like I'm sure you guys all talk about it, how this company goes and runs. And the last run was that 2015 when I first joined. So this is the best time to join. And I just had my, January 2nd, I just had my 3-year anniversary. So I know the momentum like going into this time right now, and what it can do for your business if you really jump in and push. So that is kind of me. I don't know. I grew up when I first started, so I'm from Chicago. Chicago is an untapped market. There is not an ambassador diamond in Chicago, which is crazy when you think about it, that there's 8 ambassadors within 100 miles of St. Louis. And there's not a single, Jade Hooper is probably the closest. She's in Rockford, which is about 45 minutes from Chicago, but there is not a single ambassador. So of course I jumped on that and reached out basically to every single person that I knew going to high school, 10 years, since I had been in high school, reached out to everybody and I built a really big like Chicago team. Probably half my team is in Chicago. But it's just, when you think about the potential there, like I just jumped on that. So that definitely helped a lot.
I love that. And my favorite thing that you were talking about is how you were watching her. And so many people say, oh, well, like not that many people are liking my posts. I'm like, no one likes my posts either. But then I have all of my distributors who sign, they are like so like underground about it and messaging you on the side. And so I love that. And then I also love that, like remembering like tapping into that Chicago market, because I think that is so smart, because we all have like our high school markets and our college networks and all of that, and like really utilizing that. Because I feel like, I know for me, I'm like always adding so many random people, and I'm like, wait, I'm a Kappa Delta at SLU, I need to add all these Kappa Deltas and all that.
For sure.
So I'm so excited to celebrate your Pres Day too.
Yay.
It's coming this year. Okay. So next is, how do you work your business every day? Because you have 4 kids. We're all busy. So how do you do it? Like, what do you do when you wake up, like all throughout the day?
Well, that reminds me, I didn't even talk about that 4th child. Going back to my story, I ended up joining, my youngest was 9 months old when I ended up joining. But anyway, so that it actually worked out perfect. Like if you guys have little kids, my youngest now, she's 3.5. I worked my business when I was younger, when I was like nursing my 9-month-old. Anytime I was in that nursery nursing, I was on my phone messaging, following up, all that kind of stuff. But now it's getting a little bit easier, because I do have, this year, I have all my kids are in school 3 days a week now. So definitely easier. So I get what it's like when they're little kids, because it's hard. It's hard to work it in, but you just have to make that sacrifice and, either get up early, stay up later, stuff like that. But for me, I think, of course I make it a priority to post consistently. I probably post 3 to 5 times a day. Majority of them are probably It Works posts, and not necessarily a straight It Works post, but even if it's a lifestyle post, I'm somehow working it into my, working my business into it, whether it's a sentence, like I do a lot of volunteer work at the kids' school. So on Mondays and Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my days that all my kids are in school. So, but on 2 of those days, I'm up at the school for about 2 hours, like working recess, working lunch, and just volunteering and doing that. But I make a post about how I'm volunteering and stuff like that, and how I can do that and how I get to do that. But I'm just really smart about like making a post before I go in, making a post as soon as I get in the car from doing that, and following up and just using my time wisely. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you have people that are saying that they're really busy, busy people get the job done. My husband and I, we own 3 restaurants here in St. Louis. So I think like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or say I'm like busier or better than anybody, but like we live a very, very busy lifestyle. And you just have to really just find time. Probably the last week, I've started getting up at 6 a.m. and doing power hours with Amy Spence, like she does it. And it's honestly the best thing, because I was struggling with like either working out or working my business. And it was like, if I go work out, then I don't have a lot of time to work my business. And then by the time I think about it, my kids are coming home from school. So now I get up at 6 a.m. and I'm on a power hour till 7:30. And then I get up, and then I start getting my kids to school, ship them off, take my other daughter to school, or, work my business. But, I do what I can, and I try to send out as many messages. I post 3 to 5 times a day. And I interact. I do the calendar method, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with as far as adding people. I try to add maybe 5 to 10 people on Facebook a day, and then add them into the calendar. So then when I do have time to interact, I just go straight to that calendar and just input those people. Instagram, I use the Captivate app, which is really cool. I just recently switched my Instagram to public. I used to be private. And I'm not sure if I'm liking being public, but I liked being private because whenever somebody would follow me back, that was my time that I can like screen them and see if I wanted to accept them. Now I have to be more strict about like really looking through my notifications and like going to their page and stuff like that. So it's an adjustment for sure. But, getting your followers up if you work Instagram, I mean, it is time consuming, but it's definitely worth it. I've signed distributors, I've signed loyal customers from Instagram, and you'd be surprised how many people will just like send you their like social and credit card and whatever over Instagram. I mean, it's really crazy. I'm like, oh my God. But my latest rock star right now, I got off Instagram. I still have never met her in person. She lives in Colorado. We're going skiing next month, so I'm going to actually probably meet her in person, but she's killing it. So you can find like, you never know where you're going to find your rock star. So I think the main thing is just like be consistent and post and interact and, show that you can work this business and be successful and stuff like that.
It is crazy, like the amount of info that people send to you over the phone. And because I have distributors, I'm like, get all their info, because they're like, oh, I can't sign till Friday. And I'm like, okay, get their info and run it Friday. And they're like, I don't want to ask it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to promise you right now that they will send you like their social security number in a heartbeat.
Oh,
yeah. Like, people don't care. I know Lauren Murphy, she always tells a story. She wrote her social on a napkin in Starbucks. Like, hopefully no one's
when you signed up. When she That's
going to be the next big thing is it works distributors getting their stuff stolen.
Right.
Okay, so next question. So when you are like first like finding a potential distributor to sign, what do your first messages look like? Are you cold messaging them? Do you build a relationship? How do you kind of switch over from just being friends on Facebook to getting them to sign?
I was trying to look up some examples before I got on here just so I had something to say with that. But I think, and when I was looking back at some of the people that I have like offered the opportunity to, I guess, it kind of stemmed from a loyal customer. And so it was like, we kind of just got the conversation going. Like maybe I put up something about, I'm looking for, who would be if you could take a pill that would block fat and carbs, whatever, something like that. If I got people on there and I started messaging them and talking about them, well, then that leads to the conversation of like, well, I'm trying to lose 40 pounds. And then I'd be like, well, you probably want to add more things than fat fighters. So then you're just kind of like communicating, finding out what their goal is, upselling them to that. And then when they get to the point where they're spending $100 Or if they want wraps, one of my things is if they want wraps, I always offer the opportunity. And I just say to them, like, you know, have you ever thought about doing something like this or making extra money from home? And if they say, even if they say no, I'll say, like, you know, the only reason why I ask is because you get a pack of wraps in your kit, you know, and it's okay if you don't want to, but I just want to throw it out there. So then it's not like, I don't know, you don't have to feel weird if they say no, you know, you're just trying to like think ahead, I guess. But if anybody's spending $100 in products, like that's their auto ship. So I kind of offer the opportunity that way, or just kind of really listen to what they're saying. You know, I was reading one message and one girl was like, wanted the cleanse or something like that. And she's like, oh, I can't, money's really tight right now. You know, and then I would say like, oh, well, maybe you should think about joining my team and getting paid to use the products and stuff like that. And then it kind of just starts the conversation going. And then if they react where it's kind of like that they are slightly interested, then I might say to them, like, can I send you a short video? Or if I sent you a video, would you watch it, kind of thing. And I usually always try to send a video to people first and just let them watch that. And then if they're interested, then I'll get them on the phone. If I can get somebody on the phone 9 out of 10 times, I can sign them like right then. And that just comes from confidence and just, you know, doing it multiple or like hundreds of times. But I do want somebody to kind of know what they're getting into before I'm going to spend a half an hour on the phone with them. You know what I mean? So that's why I do like to send a video first, just so they can kind of get the gist of it. And then let's talk. But yeah, I mean, I think really it's kind of asking questions. Let me look up this message because I made a note to look up this girl. I think one was a cold message. I think it was a Tiffany Her power hour I did last week. And she was like, message people on Instagram. And then I messaged this girl on Instagram and I said something, I'll read it to you guys. It's very, very general. But I don't do it to people that are, you know, a new friend. I definitely try to build a relationship, try to interact with them and stuff like that. But I usually send them something like, you know, I love following you on Instagram. I think you'd be incredible at what I do. Would you watch a short video? Hold on. Let me read it to you because I want to make sure that I'm sending the right or telling you the right word or the right message. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is one I sent. Hey girl, I hope you don't think this is weird, but I have to say that I think you'd be incredible at what I do. Would you be interested in more info about how to make money with me, how to make extra money with me? And I send it to people that I actually know. And I'm kind of weird. Like I can't really send a whole lot of messages to people I don't personally know on Facebook, but I don't have a problem doing it with Instagram. I think it's just because Instagram is just like more of a cold, like I don't know these people. A lot of my Facebook is people that I actually know. So I get more shy and more nervous to do it. But, you know, people respond, hi, not weird at all. I'd love to hear about it. And then what I do, if it's on Instagram, I try to get them on Facebook. So I'll say, oh, are you on Facebook? It's easier for me to send a message on Facebook. So then now I have them on my Facebook feed. And then I can send a message a little bit easier, or I could send a voice message, stuff like that. But I think just being honest and don't try to sound like too spammy. But I mean, that's kind of what I do with messages like that. And I do reach out to people, but then I just kind of listen to their message.
I'm literally like, I hope someone is writing down what she said because I'm not, but I know I have some greens in here and I'm like, okay, please be writing this stuff down. Okay, what do you write? What do you have in your video? Like, is it just like a Facebook, or I mean like a phone recording and you just like send it to them, or what do you put in it?
I honestly, I need to probably make my own video because I do want to send myself. At this point, I want to send myself. What I will do is if we have an opportunity party that like just happened, I was sending one of Lauren's live party videos for a while. But now I feel like it doesn't have the most current information. It doesn't have like what the fit, it doesn't have the shopping spree, like it was an older video. So now like there's been like almost an opportunity party almost every week. So if I like it, I will like tag them in the video there and have them watch that first and then get them on the phone.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. And I love that you get them on the phone because it is insane, like how people hear your enthusiasm. And I'll have new people come to me and be like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just be excited, talk in a really high pitched voice. When I signed my first distributor, Tori Salthouse, she was my first person on my team to go diamond. I was in a week, and she always tells the story. She was like, I have no idea what she was saying, but she was high pitched and talking so fast, and I just felt like I had to join her.
Right. I mean, you have to, it is nerve wracking the first time. You have to just, I mean, once you get comfortable, like with what you say, I mean, I always start to get them on the phone. And it kind of depends on the situation. It depends how much information they know. If they, if they don't know anything about the business, I'll just basically start with, I mean, it's almost like the party pad really is almost exactly what I do. Like I start with like the history of the company, and then I talk about some of the products. I touch on, hair, skin, and nails, like my favorites or like the most popular. I'll touch on more, but then I'll just like mention the other ones just so they kind of have an idea of what we have. And then I just kind of go into like steps of success, how we get paid, stuff like that, and how social media makes it so easy, stuff like that. But I think once you do it, probably the first time I did it, it was probably a hot mess. But like once you do it like once or twice, then like for me, if you're a red, it's almost like a challenge to me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a rush and a challenge. If I could just get them on the phone, and then I don't know. I know they'll sign if I can get them on the phone. And not that I say anything deceiving or anything like that. Like I probably say more than most people would say. Like I lay it all out there. I say about the auto ship. I talk about the website fee, because I don't want them to come back and be like, oh, you never told me about, you got to run an auto ship, or, you know what I mean? So I say probably more than most people would or think that they would have to, but I don't know. I'm just kind of an open book.
Well, and like, would you rather, I tell people, I'm like, okay, would you rather text back and forth for 3 weeks or 3 months, or get them on the phone and talk to them for a couple minutes and they sign? I had one more question for you about this.
I think voice message is huge though too with that. Like if you're not comfortable getting them on the phone, just do a voice message, because you can, like, if you're holding that button down, you could swipe up if you don't like it, or if you mess up, and you don't have to send it. So you kind of get like, a second take. But voice message is the next best thing than getting them on the phone.
Yes. What were you saying, Lauren?
I have a question. What does your wall say? I'm like,
my wall? Oh, I can and I will.
Oh,
Let me see.
I love that. Oh, that's so cute.
That's like my team's slogan, I guess.
I love that.
Thanks.
And I like the color of your wall.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so next question. What are your daily non-negotiables? Like, daily non-negotiables?
I would have to say lately, my number one top thing is host a post. What did I have? 22 loyal customer, or not last month, November. I think I had 22. I don't remember what I had last month, maybe 10, which is really high for me. Like that is crazy. And a lot of it had to do with vendor events, the specials obviously in November, but honestly, like host a post lately has been the best thing. And honestly, not all of them are going to be like go viral. But I'm trying to be in the habit of doing 2 to 3 people to post for me every single day. And I go back and forth. I have hair, skin, and nails, cleanse, fat fighters, and thermal fight. And so those are the 4 products that I kind of like go through and have them post about. But, I have probably 12 potential loyal customers from people posting, and, a couple that have actually signed up, a couple of them that are like, oh, let's talk tomorrow, let's talk Friday. But so many potentials that are completely outside of my network. that have all come from that. So I'm trying to do that every day.
Wait, really quick. Will you explain that? Like, cause I know what it is, but I know that we have some new people on, and just like explain like how you go about that really quick.
Yes. Okay. So the one lady that was really had a really good response from it. So she's one of my loyal customers. She did a cleanse. It was her first month. She ordered a cleanse. She lost 4 pounds. So she had texted me like saying how awesome her results were and how great she felt. And I said, can I create a post through this text message or whatever? And I will give you, because with her, she was going to split greens with her sister, who's also one of my loyal customers. I'm like, okay, obviously she wants greens, but she must not want to pay for a whole box for herself. So I said to her, I said, hey, I'll give you a week's worth of greens for each customer that I get if you're willing to put a post up on your wall on my behalf. And, whatever I get from it, I'll give you a week's worth of greens for each customer. So I created wording, and it was basically kind of had her testimonial and said, my friend Amy, and she tagged me, and she said, my friend Amy's looking for, other people that want to do it. I can actually read you the whole thing if you want me to pull it up, but something like that. Or I give wording to people that's like, my friend Amy is looking for 10 people that, are looking to block fats and carbs. Let me pull one up, because I'm really bad at like trying to figure out or trying to like remember what I say. But I usually, this is how I start it though. I like to go off of my active people. So I'll go into Messenger and I see who's active, and I'll look, and I almost make like a hundreds list for like a host to post. So I'll look through, and there's some people that's like, yeah, I'm not going to ask that person. I feel weird asking that person, or maybe with another MLM. But anyway, I make like a hundreds list of people that I want to ask or that I would feel comfortable. And then I send them a message, and I got this from Hung Forest. All I say is, hey girl, can I ask you a question? Or, hey, can I ask a favor? You would be so surprised how fast people respond when you just say that. And they're like, yeah, what's up? And then I will say to them, like, would you be willing to make a post on my behalf? If I get any customers from it, I'll give you a week's worth of whatever product you want. Or if you have a lot of wraps, you can give them a wrap for every customer. I did do that with one person, but then the more that I was doing, I'm like, I can't give away that many wraps. But let me read you one of them. So like, and I kind of switch it up. And so if they're willing to put up the post, I'll ask them like, okay, what do you think your audience would respond better to? Would they rather have a cleanse or a hair, skin, and nails? And sometimes like I kind of can figure what I think they would like. If I have a hairstylist, of course I'm going to have them do a hair, skin, and nails. If I have a potential distributor, I'm definitely going to do this for them and hope to God that like they're going to have a great response, because then now they're seeing that, wow, this is really easy. Like, look at all these customers that I could almost get. And then you can say to them, if you're ready to join me, like you can take all these potentials and put them right underneath you, but like this one, I said to her, hey girl, can I ask you a favor? She said, hey, Amy, what's up? I said, would you be willing to post a status update on your Facebook on my behalf? If anyone becomes a customer for it, I'll give you a week's worth of a product of your choice. Sure. So then I sent her a thermophyte, and I said, this was what she was supposed to copy and paste. I said, if you could take a pill that would naturally boost your metabolism, burn extra calories, give you energy, and curb your appetite, would you? My friend Amy is looking for 10 people to do a 90-day challenge at her discount and give your honest feedback. Comment below and she will message you the details. So then I tell her, I said, copy and paste that, and where it says my name, tag me. So now anytime somebody comments, number one, I'm going to send them a friend request. And then, so now I'm expanding my network like that. And then number two, I'm going to message them, and I'm just going to say something like, hey, so-and-so, thank you so much for commenting on Sarah's post. Are you interested in, boosting your metabolism or something like that? Yes, I could copy and paste a couple in the chat. But then, and then I kind of go from there. Like I leave it little by little, and I say that, and then they say, yes, I'm interested. What is it? Then I'll explain it again and leave it at that. And I says, is this something you might be interested in? Yes. How much does it cost? All I say is it is $39 as a loyal customer, or whatever it is, $65. as a retail customer. The next question, always, what is a loyal customer? Then I copy and, I put my like, a loyal customer is blah, 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 and go through that. And this is why I only keep it to like two or three people making a post every day, because if you have good interaction with each one, like you are going crazy. You know what I mean? It's like copy and paste this and this, this and this. But that's kind of what I do. And, it is a lot of follow-up with these people, but now you're creating this potential loyal customer list that you can write down, okay, this person's interested in Thermofite. If I ever have a promo, I'm going to go back to this list, if you can't get them to sign up within this thing. But, it really helps. And then those people, you can bounce it off of them and be like, hey, I'd be willing to give you a week's worth of a product of your choice, and keep kind of piggybacking off every person that you're meeting. Does that make sense? But yeah, and I pretty much just do those four, but I mean, host to post is just a great way to build your network, get loyal customers, and just grow your business.
My mind is blown right now. I'm like, I have so many people message right now. I'm like a little overwhelmed.
All right, the Zoom's over. We all have to go do something. Bye.
If you all like, if you start, I love to just go through the people that are active, start looking through there, or just do it like you do a hundreds list and start writing people down. But anybody that does it for you is a potential distributor right there. Because if they have great interaction, if they have 4 people on there and you have 4 orders, you'd be like, girl, you just posted this and I have 4 orders I can put in. You should totally join me and I'll put them right underneath you. You know what I mean? So like, and there's your $100 shopping spree. Because I think when people have great interaction like that, like it just shows them how easy it could be, to make a post. You have all this interaction. People are actually interested in what you have. So, I mean, it's good on all levels. So that is one thing I've been really trying to start doing. The weekends, I don't really do it just because my weekends are crazy. And it's really hard to interact or to follow up with it. Even today, I went back to people that posted last Wednesday or last Thursday for me. And there were 2 people that posted. There was 1 person on each one that I never saw the notification for. Like, I think they commented 2 days ago, and I ended up like reaching out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for the delay. Are you interested in this? And this one, and it's funny because those people, they start the conversation with you maybe about Fat Fighters, but I have somebody today, I think it was a Fat Fighter post, and she's going to order the Fit 30. Like, I think she probably sent me she was supposed to be sending me her information. But I mean, you can just get their interest and then via Messenger, just talk to them and try to like really see what their goals are. Like, she wants to lose 40 pounds. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not going to do that with Fat Fighters. We need to add something else. So I sent her a picture of the 3 different fit packages. And now she's like, yeah, I'm going to need the 30-day. I'm like, sweet. And then I sent her a voice message about the loyal customer. So you just have to get people's interest and then, start talking to them. So that was a really long answer for one of my daily non-negotiables, but posting, interacting, you have to message people, you have to follow up. I wear my gear pretty much every single day, anywhere I go. And yeah. Oh, well, this isn't a daily non-negotiable, but this is something else that I've really started to do. And I know everybody can't do this because you don't own a restaurant, but you could do it somewhere else. I've been doing since October, I do a sushi and sample party at one of our restaurants, and I pay for all the sushi. I have everybody else there on their own for drinks, but it's just basically a sample party. I do it once a month. I have new people, like random people every time. And I tell them like, you could bring a friend or 2, whatever. And it's been awesome. Like, it's since October, I probably have had like 4 people almost every single month that come, and it's just people that are not even on my, like potentials list. And I think, I do bribe them with sushi, but I don't care,
Okay,
but
so can I come even though I'm not a potential? Like, I'll pretend I am and I'll like convince everyone to sign. If you feed me sushi, like I'll do anything.
you could just be my backup.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and if you don't own a restaurant, like people, you can do sip and samples at your house. Me
Right.
and Lauren do those on Tuesdays and all
I
night.
think the main thing is to just book something once a month. And, you know, if you have a downline, and let your whole downline bring people, you know, because that's what I do for my team. I said, if you have potentials, bring them. And let me do the work, especially new people. It's great for, because it's a great learning experience for them. And then, you know, it gets people in front of the products, and then they'll sign up one way or the other. But yeah, I mean that, or even if you just did an online party, but something once a month to, you know, have people bring potentials to is important.
I like it. And that's getting people going back to the basics, getting in front of people and all that. I really am like, my mind is still blown about the host to post. Like, I mean, I like knew about it, but not like to that extent. So obviously,
Okay, you obviously haven't been listening to me, so
we'll talk about it later. I'm sorry, this
Yeah.
is not your Zoom, Lauren Murphy, and this is being recorded for YouTube, so I need you to simmer down.
me and Amy go back, so
Okay. Does anyone have any last minute questions for Amy? And I will harass her, I promise, and I will have her screenshot that whole thing to me, and I will post it with this for our team. And
Yeah, I'll send them all to you.
Okay. So don't worry, I will get that team. But does anyone else have any last minute questions for her before we sign off?
Vendor events are huge.
Oh yeah. So will you go over those really quick? Because I know that you oh wait, first, how many do you message a day? How many people?
I don't really have a number. I don't know. I just try to send a handful out or follow up with all my people. I think the one time I did for Instagram, I probably do 20 at a time, but I'm not like a mass, like 100 or 200 a day or anything like that.
Okay.
And then that's more of like, if I have time, like I do try to definitely send a couple. Mine are more like follow-ups, you know, than sending out new ones, unless it's Instagram. I send cold messages, but.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Lauren.
Okay, and then and then just go over the vendor events really quick.
Oh yeah. Okay, so vendor events were huge. Obviously, it's kind of, I don't know, now the more that I do them, I'm kind of seeing that they are more often, but obviously the bulk of them are going to be October through December, shopping parties, holiday parties, but I think it's really important. You do kind of have to stay ahead of them. And you know, like I'm basically booking right now for like April and some in the summer even. The great thing is when you can get your foot in the door on a vendor event, you almost have first dibs on it for next year. So, you know, the more you can get in, yes, some of them cost money and some of them are expensive. I just did a bridal event this past weekend, which was kind of a flop, but at the same time, I have like, I think 3 potential distributors that are coming to my sushi and sample tomorrow night. So if I look at it like, okay, if they sign and I get a fast start on all of them, it was worth it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they're kind of hit or miss, but it's good exposure. It's a great way. If you're newer, it's a great way to get comfortable with like talking. You know, like when I did my first vendor event, oh my gosh, you repeat yourself so much that you can explain what grains are. You can do whatever you want, like not even thinking about it. So it gets you really fluent with like explaining products, talking about the business, stuff like that. Cause you're just constantly like saying the same thing over and over again, but I love them. I've always loved like vendor event type things, like even with the restaurants, like, Taste of St. Louis or something, like just where people kind of come up to the booth and buy some, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. But, I just think they're really important. It's a great way. It's a lot of follow-up because you get leads by getting doing like a raffle. And then you do have to follow up with people, but the Reach app has made that very, very easy, which that's a whole nother topic. But the Reach app is awesome. If anybody has it or doesn't use it, you should use it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you just kind of have to stay on it, get your application in, split it up with people, do it with people on your team, split the cost of it. sell wraps on the spot. We had a tent in our booth where we wrapped people right there on the spot. And I don't know, it's just crazy. It's mind blowing to do a vendor event because you come into contact with people that have never heard of the company. And it's just like, it's just crazy. It's like, where have you been? But then it's awesome at the same time, you know? So I don't know. Vendor events are just fun. I like it.
Okay, one last question. And then, sorry, I know it's past the 30 minutes, but just one last question. When cold messaging, what do you do to get someone's attention, like further than asking if they would like to be a part of this part of the business?
You do get somebody's attention. I don't know. I mean, I think you have to give them a compliment. You have to say why you think they'd be great. And I don't know. I mean, say why they'd be great if they've ever been interested in making extra money. You know, if they are a loyal customer, I think you can, I don't know. That doesn't really answer that question. I was gonna say, if you're a loyal customer, like if they're loving the products, like you can kind of word it like, well, you're loving the products, why not get paid to use them? But cold messaging, I mean, I think it basically stems from being consistent, really. I mean, being consistent, posting good opportunity posts, showing a lot of the products, not just the same product every single day, showing like, you know, like how big our product line is. But I think it's just, you know, you almost have to just be like, if I sent you a video, would you watch it? And then, you know, hope that video, send them a great video that's going to grasp their attention. Because I mean, really a lot of the videos I've seen, it's like I would join over and over again if I watched it. But I don't know. I don't know if that answered your question or not, but that's all I got for it.
No, I liked it. Okay, so thank you so much for taking time out of your night, Amy. Like seriously, so much good information. And like I said, I have some greens on here who are taking notes. Thank goodness, because I'm not. I'm just like, I got to go message everyone. Everyone's hosting a post for me today. Everyone.
Just don't do too many. I mean, that's my biggest piece of advice. Like it's tempting to just message 10 people and be like, hey, can I ask a favor? Can I ask a favor? Because you want to get that going. But if every single one of them turns out to be like, to have a lot of interest, you will lose your mind. So I mean, try to keep it to 2 to 3 people. And if it's a flop, then go back tomorrow or start new people tomorrow, or maybe go back to that post like the next day and make a comment so it bumps. Cause it could have totally been the time of day that you put it up or they put it up that nobody saw it. Not that nobody was interested, but maybe go back and make a comment and kind of bump it up or something like that. So,
yeah, cause knowing me, I'll get like 100 of them and then I'll shut down my Facebook. I'll be so stressed.
right.
Okay. Well, thank you seriously so much for taking time out of your night and doing this. For us, it was amazing. So have a good rest of your week and, I'll text you about those screenshots.
Yeah. Let me know what you guys want and I'll send you copies of whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Dan.